All right, here we go, computer science fans. We're going to do an example of pseudocode and flowchart. Um, the problem that we're solving is how to make a coffee. That's the problem I'm going to do. You're going to get a choice of doing your own later, but I'm going to use Google Docs this time. It doesn't matter what program you use. Um, I'm using Google Docs this time. I'm going to go new, and I could use a drawing, Google Drawings, but I'm going to use Google Docs, just a text document. And I'm going to call this, let's see, I've got 4_2 flow charts and pseudocode. Okay, and I want to put that as my title too. Pseudocode. Dandy. Here is the pseudocode for making a coffee. So what would we do? Well, we want to get from the person we're making coffee for, we want to get uh, the number of sugars, get the number of creams, and then after we get that input, we're going to, pour a cup of black coffee. And yeah, this step, we could add more detail to this. Like, how do we make coffee? Well, we need to fill the coffee pot, and we have to put that in the coffee maker, and we have to have so many scoops of coffee grounds and so on. But for now, we're going to pretend that that's made, but we could add more detail here. Um, so pour a cup of black coffee, and then we're going to actually loop, add sugar until the right number of sugars. And notice that I could probably, it would make sense to have my decision here, up here, loop until the right number of sugars, add sugar, and then that way if there's none, it won't add any sugar. So that makes sense to do it that way. And notice that in our structures, this add sugar line, we can see that it's in the loop because it's been indented. Just like in Turing or whatever code we're using, that our structures are indented, so are our loops. Loop until the right number of creams. Add cream. And so this will loop, add 1 cream, add 2 creams, add 3 creams, and so on, and then it'll go on to the next step. And notice we don't have any code like creams equals cream plus 1, or loop exit when number of creams equals user cream. We don't have any code in this. It's pseudocode. It's supposed to feel like English. Okay, so after that, we've got our black coffee with cream and sugar in it, and then we're going to stir and serve coffee. That's it, done. So what would this look like in flowchart? Well, flowchart, remember, inputs and outputs are parallelograms, and processes are rectangles. So all we would have to do is make this into a flowchart. Here is the flowchart, and I'm going to insert a drawing. What's nice in Google Docs is they've got the shapes for flowcharts built in. They're down here. So the first thing we said was we were going to get the number of creams. We should have a start, I suppose, a start process. Let me put that in there. Where's the start? The starts and ends are that thing right there. So I'm going to have a little start. And in here, I'm going to put get sugars, or number of sugars. I'm going to make that a little smaller so it fits better. Can I do that? Maybe not. Ah, it's good enough. Maybe I'll make this a little bit bigger so it'll fit. There. And I'm going to just copy that, control, and drag that down there so I can get the number of creams. Right? And those are rectangles because it's input from the user. Right? Input from the user. So I'm going to use an arrow to connect these things to show the flow of the program. And then down here, we're going to, next thing is we are going to get the black coffee. Pour black coffee. And now we're going to start into our loops that adds the processes. Notice that if I run out of space, which it looks like I'm going to, I can use what's called a connector, right? So if I have my little arrow here and I'm running out of room, right? Because I'm running out of room down here, I can use a connector. A connector. That looks like a connector. And a little tiny connector like that. And then so I'm going to then put this way up here. So it shows there to there, a connector. And so what was the next thing now is have we added the right number of sugars? Well, that's a decision, right? So we're going to decision. Put this in the right spot in a second. Enough sugar. Make that a little bit bigger so it doesn't look so goofy. There, enough sugar? Question mark. Like that. And if the answer is no, answer is no, we're going to add sugar, right? Shapes, rectangle here for process. Add sugar. And notice that we should put some text on there. So if the answer is no, we want to add sugar. And then what do? We see if there's enough, right? So we're going to go loop back here. And this is how we show a loop in our flowchart is it goes back to an earlier process. The flow of control goes back to an earlier process. If the answer is yes, we have added enough sugar, well, then I'm going to start adding cream. And so I'm going to hit control and drag that down there so I can just copy that shape so it looks nice, looks dandy. Enough cream. Remember, the whole idea of these, and I'm going to just copy this as well. Oops. Undo that. Oops, got copied. I want to copy this thing. Copy that. I wanted to copy that arrow, but it was being a little bit temperamental there. Oops. Same as that. That's goofy. Let me put a better arrow in there. The whole idea of a flowchart, remember, is that I should be able to take this and be able to code it in any language, whether it's Turing or whether it's Java or JavaScript or whatever. And I know this is a real life example rather than a programming problem, but you get the idea, right? I'm going to be able to take this code and implement it in general. Whoops. And there's the loop. We can see the loop for the cream. And if there's enough cream, then we're ready to serve the coffee. Stir and serve, right? So I'm running out of room here. Shape. Stir is another process. Stir. And then I wonder if I can move all this up so I can fit it in here. Sure, why not? Stir, and then output. The output is is parallelogram, remember? I'm going to have to do a long one here because it's not going to fit in. Serve coffee, and then quit, right? The quit is the end of the program. It's another one of these symbols here. I'm just going to copy that. No, I didn't copy that. Edit, undo. I just stretched it like crazy. See if I can control and copy that. There it goes. And that's end. End. Done. So save and close. And now you're going to do your version underneath this for whichever of the problems that you wanted to solve, and then save up. If you never use Google Docs, you can use whatever program you want, but your flowchart should look something like that.